Well, good morning for this episode of What's in the Truck. We're going to be going over the infrastructure bill and what's actually in it. So, we're not going to go into all of it, right? But we're only going to take a little bits and pieces. So, what's in the infrastructure bill? Electric vehicles, clean energy, and public transit, and all included in a $1 trillion policy. We're going to be going over a couple different aspects of this as we go forward. The links of all the articles that I read through are down there for you to go through and look for yourself what else is there. I also went back to August to grab something else as well in regards to the SEC, and because there's a crypto bill in here also in the infrastructure bill. So as we go forward, let's take a look at this. So Joe Biden, it's on his desk. The Senate passed it. All right, they've been trying to get this done, but it is bipartisan. So this is fantastic news for the economy. More money for us to spend. So this is going to help the economy, pushing it forward. It may even slow down inflation. Maybe that's a good plan. But inflation's here. It's here to stay. And we're going to really see inflation jump up next year as well. Once again, I'm not an economist. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a financial planner. This is just Jim Becker sharing with you what's showing up in my day-to-day as I go read in the morning of what's going on in the world. And my job is to just bring this information to you. And this is for entertainment purposes. So have fun with this. So let's just take a look at this. The House passes the long-awaited $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill, which is great. The plan includes $550 billion to fund advancements in the public transit, clean energy, electric vehicles, and roads and bridges, which is great. And I just bought a Tesla, which is great. I love how that drives me to work, and I don't really have to watch the road. It's kind of cool. So it's not fully autonomous yet, but it will be at some point in time. So we look at a closer look at the key funding areas of the legislation below and see more stories on the Insiders page. Okay, so as we go through this, sorry about all the ads, but that's just what's going to happen. So the House passed the long-awaited $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill on Friday, aimed at restoring American transportation systems. Right? So we're trying to fight the climate change and increasing high-speed internet services. So Tesla has high speed coming out with their satellite. And if you identify that, let's just go on over to that. So Tesla, satellite, internet. And once you go there, you can check this out. It's called Starlink. So if you haven't heard about it yet, go check it out and you can order now. Put your information in your service area. So he's been launching these. I think he has 1,700 satellites already out there. And this is for internet, fast, 100, right? So I believe it's 100 down and 50 up. So for as low as I think $19.99 a month. So it's going to be pretty interesting as we go forward on that. So let's get back, a little distracted, but that's okay. Give you an idea. The legislation is estimated to create 1.5 million jobs per year over the next decade and marks the single largest investment repairing and restructuring our nation's bridges since construction of the interstate highway system, according to the White House. So tonight, we took a monumental step forward as the nation's president, Joe Biden, said in a statement, generations from now, people will look back and know this is when America won the economic competition for the 21st century. So the bill passed 228 to 206 vote, with 13 House Republicans joining most Democrats to lend the key votes. So if it wasn't for those 13 Republicans, this would not have passed. So we needed to have the majority, and they really helped sway that. So while the passage marks the decisive legislative victory for the Biden administration, it also puts a hold on a larger social spending and climate bill, as Democrats infighting between moderates and progressives continues the lofty price tag. So, as we keep kicking the can down the street, right? This was November 6th, right, at 9:12. If you go into this, you'll see the fact sheet on the historic bipartisan infrastructure deal. So this is right from the White House. All these links are down at the bottom. But what the government's doing is they're spending and spending and spending and spending. I have an episode coming out with you guys later on working on it right now in regards to how not bills, but how monies, bonds, and treasury notes are sold, who it goes out to, in addition to the Treasury and the Federal Reserve and printing of money, how this whole thing works and how the banking system is printing out a lot of money. So it'll be pretty interesting. I don't want to give you it all right now. This is more of going over the infrastructure bill. So this will go over a little bit key facts of what's going on inside of it. Makes the largest federal investment public transit ever, right? And there are some places that need public transit update, if you will. Makes the largest federal investment in passenger rail since the creation of Amtrak. Makes the single largest dedicated bridge investment since the construction of the interstate highway system. Makes the largest investment in clean drinking water, which that is needed. I mean, everybody, that should be a right for clean air and clean water. And wastewater, of course, infrastructure in American history. Delivering clean water to millions of families ensures every American has access to reliable, high-speed internet. Helps us tackle the climate crisis by making the large investment in clean energy transmission in EV infrastructure in history. Electrifying thousands of school and transit buses across the country and creating a new grid development authority to build a clean 21st century electric grid. So just on a side note, I just want to let you guys know this. When you see these bills coming out, a lot of people are investing into whatever the infrastructure is doing. See, they're putting a lot of money out there, and as money goes out there, it just helps these businesses grow as well as generate wealth. So as you're seeing more and more electric cars being created, and you're seeing more of you're seeing this whole infrastructure of having a new grid deployed, you have to ask yourself this question: where could you invest into electricity, right? As we're shifting from fossil fuels like gas and we're going to more electric, does this not mean that we're going to be consuming more electric as we move forward and that the price of this electric will be going up as well? So when you look at that, those are opportunities for you to invest in into the future. Once again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment purposes. So as we go through this, look where the money is being spent and invest in those areas. It's needed there anyways. So as we go forward, you're helping society move forward and really make a difference in people's lives. So let's go through a couple more things as we go here. So House passes $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill that includes transportation, broadband, and utility funding. Sends it to Biden. Okay, so as we're going forward, I mean, think about the construction and the traffic, right? My personal belief, if I was a billionaire, what I would be doing is I would be taking my $1 billion. It'd probably take more than that, but let's just say it was more than $1 billion. I would be taking all the money that I had there and build a huge highway, a new grid, right? It's great that it's what's there already, but I would build just for trucks, just for trucks. Did I say just for trucks? Just for trucks. I mean, this is what's in the truck, right? What's in the truck? So when we're talking about this, America moves based off of transportation. All the goods and services. Look around you right now. Just look around your office, at your house. Everything that you see got delivered on a truck. It probably was on 5 to 7 different trucks throughout its whole lifespan until it landed where it's at right now around your environment. So as we move forward, wouldn't it be great, instead of these express lanes, imagine express lanes on every highway. And the only thing that was allowed on there were semi-trucks. Semi-trucks were not allowed to intermingle with regular cars, passenger, motorcycles. And God forbid, on the infrastructure just for semi-trucks, no motorcycles are there. The only thing that's allowed out there are emergency vehicles, right? That's it. You would see life change, okay? I'm not the first person to say that, I'm sure. I'm sure this has been said several times. The House passes more than $1 trillion bipartisan. So the Senate approved the revamp of transportation, utilities, and broadband in August. The legislation passage is perhaps the unified Democratic government's most concrete achievement since its approval of a $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package in spring. So it's pretty interesting as we go through this, and you'll see a lot of these are going to be telling you basically the same thing. So as we're going through this on Yahoo Finance, we want to just look. Okay, so we already went over that. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act would put $550 billion of new funding into transportation projects. We need this. And big shout out to the TIA, the Transportation Intermediaries Association. They've been working really, really hard up on the Hill, especially Chris. Chris, thank you very much for all your work that you've been doing. It really helps out for all of us intermediaries. There's about 29,000 freight brokers across North America right now, and we're one of them. So the infrastructure bill, $550 billion. So what is that going to do? And broadband, including $110 billion for roads, bridges, and other major projects, along with $66 billion for passenger and freight rail, and $39 billion for public transit. So a lot of money is going to be going out there. This one is the one that I really want to bring some attention to, because you guys hear what I say all the time on here. There is a component within the bill for crypto industry that seeks to expand the definition of a broker for IRS purposes. For a broker, Now, thinking about that, what does that really mean? Broker, it's an intermediary, right? In 3PL, we're third-party logistics. Third party, meaning we're the third party between A and B, or 1 and 2. Third. So there's a high possibility that the definition could be too broad, capturing entities like miners and other parties that don't facilitate transactions. So when we go through this, the turmoil began when cryptocurrency provisions were added to the bill at the last minute, late July, with the stated goal of raising an estimated $28 billion by closing the crypto tax gap. The bill may have a negative impact on mining operations in the U.S., although analysts expect the country to remain the undisputed leader in the cryptocurrency mining industry, especially since China closed it all down and moved all those operations to Thailand and Korea. So you're seeing things being displaced. But it's still being done. So mining, just to give you an idea, miner is, you could use any type of miner that you want. Let's just say the S19J Pro, right? So you get 8 of those together and you could produce 2 Bitcoin per year, right? If without going through all the ones and zeros of the whole thing, you could be mining your own Bitcoin and produce your own cryptocurrency and then move that to your own wallet. And then later on, you can put that on the public market and sell it at some point in time, or even use that as a currency or an asset. It's not a security. And right now, the SEC will go into that a little bit. Let's see what we got over here. So crypto's real worry is the infrastructure bill, not the SEC. So Gary Gensler is right now working on a court case against XRP, Ripple, parent company Ripple, and saying that they're a security, but they're not, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see how the SEC handles this case if it gets thrown out, if they dismiss it. If the SEC dismisses the case that they put against Ripple and XRP, if they dismiss it, it's like it never actually happened, which will probably happen, because if that happens, now they can go ahead and bring this case towards anyone as they go forward into the cryptocurrency. Notice they haven't done this against Bitcoin, and they didn't do it against Ethereum, and they continue to have a free pass to go forward. They're not seen as a security, but with XRP, they're being seen as a security. What it really looks like, and there's a Howey test that will identify what's going on through this, and you can look at every single one of the cryptocurrencies that are out there, and there's new ones coming on every single day. So I may have lost some of you guys. If you wanted to know more about that, fantastic, but I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole as we go forward. But let's just read this really quick. And this is from August. Gary Gensler, the new chairman of the Securities Exchange Commission, is starting to detail his priorities for cryptocurrency regulations and billions of dollars worth of investments hanging in the balance. So as we go through this, what new crypto tax rules would mean for the average investor. So if you're investing in cryptocurrency, which I do, I probably have 12 coins that I'm invested in. Number one is Ethereum. I would probably say number two is probably XRP. Next would be probably VeChain. And next would be Cardano. And the list goes on. But those are some of the good ones. I had Bitcoin before I sold my Bitcoin and reinvested it in something else, a new property. Seeing interest rates are really low. So Gensler has spoken a few times on crypto regulation, but has not yet tipped his hand on some of the industry's biggest issues, like whether a Bitcoin exchange traded fund could get approval by the SEC, right? Which, by the way, it has. He may give more clarity on Tuesday at 12:15 Eastern Time. Okay, that was at the Aspen Securities Forum, which we just locked down going on our next board meeting. We just finished our board meeting, and we'll be in Aspen for our board meeting coming in February, I believe. So it's going to be kind of cool. Get on the slopes now that the winter's coming. So Gary Gensler, nice guy, taught at MIT. There's a free course by Gary Gensler. It's about 20 hours long through MIT. Just go on YouTube and Google Gary Gensler crypto course. It's 20 hours long. Go watch it. There's some good information in there, and it'll edify you on what cryptocurrency is and how it's seen in, you'll learn a lot, right? My wife was asking me about, mining. I was talking about mining and da-da-da-da-da-da, and she's like, all right, now I'm interested. Can you tell me more about that? So I went through a whole bunch of stuff with her and just said, here, this is what mining is, and this is what Bitcoin is, and this is what Ethereum is. And she hears it all the time, but this is the first time she ever said, hey, I really want to know more. So we went over that. So as we go through this, but there's a bigger issue looming over the industry in the near term. Congress is looking for ways to pay for the infrastructure bill, which is meant to shore up the nation's bridges, tunnels, and rail systems. Normally, it was the transportation highway bill, right? And now, inside this infrastructure bill, it's really helping as we move forward. It's encapsulating all of it, right? Which is great. Closing loopholes that allow crypto holders to avoid taxes in one way to raise money. Officials have complained that lax reporting standards make it easier to avoid taxes on crypto transactions. So, example, there may have been times that people were mining Bitcoin, right? Mining Bitcoin. Back in the day, it really didn't mean anything because it was only $1.50 per Bitcoin. So to mine it, it takes, if you have, 8 XJ Pros, you can mine 2 Bitcoin a year. That means 4 miners will mine. It's just writing code. That's all it's doing. It's ones and zeros and ones and zeros and hashtags. Hash, hash, hash. So it's all about the hash rate. So when you go through the whole process, 4 machines will mine 1 Bitcoin. 1 Bitcoin today is $65,000. So some people were mining and they never had to pay taxes on the stuff that they mined. Example, if you go into the mountains in Arizona or California and you're digging and you find a gold nugget and it's worth $65,000, and then you go sell it, you get $65,000, should one report that as income? I would see it as income. I would have to pay tax on that. Some people weren't doing that. Now, is that tax evasion or what's the case? Not really sure. I don't live in that world. I'm not a tax guy. I hand all my stuff over to a CPA and they handle it. So I have other things I'm working on. I can't do it all. So officials have complained that the lax reporting standards make it easier to avoid taxes on crypto transactions. So it just gives you a little taste of it. Even though they're called cryptocurrencies, digital assets and notice it said assets like Bitcoin, are treated as assets, something tangible, like this can, right? This is a nice can. Not can, it's steel, yes, but it's my Yeti, which has my coffee in there, and it keeps it nice and warm for me, right? That's an asset. Well, gold is an asset, right? There's things that are called currency, right? And currencies, like the dollar bill is a currency. It's not really cash. It's a note. It's a debt payable note. That's what it is. So when we get into this, be careful on the loopholes of, these things. Provision in the Senate bill seeks to raise $28 billion worth of taxes by forcing more companies in the industry to collect tax information. So know your customer, right? IRS officials have said getting more tax information would help them track cryptocurrency gains. But the crypto community was troubled by the bill. The provision initially included language defining a cryptocurrency broker that industry lobbyists warned could include groups like crypto miners that don't tend to collect financial information. The lobbyists were able to get some language changed, but some industry proponents think the changes don't go far enough and could still ensure software companies that make products like crypto wallets, allowing people to hold their assets. So there's so much information and so many different ways we could go. I call it facets or the hologram as we go through. So it's just more moments as we go through this. And we want to kind of unpack this on what's in the truck. So, when we look at this bill, it's going to be changing a lot of things. So I'm going to end there, but just to conclude as we go forward, I just want you to know there's a lot of things inside this bill that was passed that Joe Biden will be signing, and it becomes law, right? So understand there are certain provisions too, just like with the vaccinations. People will be losing their jobs come January once this is full effect with the vaccination bill. There's some nurses and doctors that I'm friends with that lost their jobs, right? Because they're not vaccinated. So in this whole situation, it's pretty interesting. We should know what's in these bills. In the links below, you'll find these links. Go read for yourself and learn more. Don't just take what I'm giving you. Actually go read and do some research. Don't just use the links I'm giving you, but go look for other links. Read and edify yourself. Learn more about this as we go forward. But with this, I just want to thank you. Thank you for taking the time out just to learn what's in the truck today as we move forward. And you'll see these episodes come more and more just to really talk about what is currently going on in our day, in our life, here in the transportation world, or in our life that's going to affect us some way, some shape, or form. So with that, I just want to thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making it this far. If you made it this far, please like, subscribe, share, comment. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. If there's something you'd like to hear, put it in the comments. We'll put it out there. Thank you very much. Grace and peace. Have a great day. Bye-bye, guys.